Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Dragon Slayer: The Legend of Heroes. In the last part, we explored more or less all of the country of Havelock, and Drax got away even though we saved the king. Again. But now we can track him down because we know exactly where he is, and we're going to fight some Selfs along the way. Selfs are almost always encountered in groups of 3 to 4, and they don't have a lot of HP or strength. What they specialize in is their special attacks inflicting the sleep status ailment, even though they don't get a chance to do that there. Be careful though if you run into them when grinding, because they can potentially mess you up. For now, let's just enter the hollow and track Drax down.
Prince Logan, we realize that this is something you must do alone. We'll go to Havelock and await your return. May the Seeker protect you.
And now we're just Logan. Thankfully, this dungeon has no enemies until the boss fight, and even then it's just a linear pathway. Don't need to use a torch, just go into here for the boss fight.
I salute you and your stupidity, Logan, for only a fool would dare to face me alone. I would have thought you'd come with your dear friends.
Save your breath, Drax. Where's Micah?
Micah? I'm afraid I've misplaced her somewhere in the desert. She's probably buzzard bait by now.
You heartless dog. Prepare to meet your maker.
Okay, time to finish this. The final battle with Drax begins. But that's not all. A thick fog rolls in and all spells are frozen. You can't use any spells, but neither can he. He's got some little sentries with him that can do some damage and have some health, but not a lot to worry about. What happened? Why won't the spells work? Drax breaks off the battle and tries to escape. The way is blocked. There's no way out. Drax uses the warp wing. But Drax doesn't realize that it won't work in the hollow. Should have been a warp quill, you idiot. Now we'll have to fight without the spells. At this point, you should just focus on Drax. You don't even need to kill the sentries. Killing Drax makes the battle end. Kind of a silly ending, but it's an ending, I guess.
You're better than I gave you credit for, boy. But don't be fool enough to assume that it's all over. Though it pains me to admit it. I am but a pawn. You've not won until you've bested Naja, master of the darkest horde. It brings a smile to my lips, knowing that you're destined for a fate far worse than death.
Hey, we got Doom's Tear back. Cool. Also, Drax is dead. So yay! I guess our quest is over because he was what we were focusing on.
I presume. I seem to be the Drax. I guess I owe you my thanks as you've saved me the trouble of eliminating him myself. Oh, that's right, he was quite expendable. A tool for obtaining Doom's Tear and Doom's Eye, which are now temporarily in your possession. Once I've ended your worthless life, both will be mine. I'm sure Master Naja will be pleased by this arrangement, don't you?
Only if you succeed, Scaleface.
Giles?
Not to mention Ethan and yours truly.
Prince Logan, you didn't really think Sonya would let us stay behind and twiddle our thumbs.
Oh, excellent. The band's all here.
Yeah, and you're gonna be one sorry beastie for messing with us in the first place.
Oh, well, we'll see about that, child.
Damius here is the real boss fight to fight here, unlike Drax. You're going to want to cast Power 3 and Leech on whoever, obviously Leech on the boss fight, but Power 3 on whoever your strongest fighter is, in this case, Giles. And as well as some haste, and then get Calm going as soon as you can. Damius' main thing is that he uses attacks that can inflict confusion on you. And when everyone's confused, he'll start using, I think it's Cure 5 on himself, which will heal about half of his max HP, which is really rough. Prevent that as soon as you can, and then just start swinging. Otherwise, he'll start using some attack magic that's pretty strong, like Ice 5. I think he might have Fire 5 as well. Be careful with this fight, as while Drax himself is nothing, Damius can genuinely be dangerous. Alright, confusion also goes through Calm. I forgot about that. So be careful of that, so he can still just decide to screw you over. Fun. And we get an Ice Staff like all the other staves that can cast Ice 3 occasionally if you use it as your physical weapon. Not too useful. The Beasts of Sordis turn tail and abandon the kingdom. We're doing pretty good about saving these kingdoms, huh? That's actually some pretty healthy experience points. This is the end of Chapter 4, Mystic Myths. Welcome to Chapter 5, Outlaws. Prince Logan, you're back! But I don't see my daughter. Well, we sorta, kinda, didn't quite actually. My lord, let me explain. King Theos, Drax abandoned your daughter in the desert, so to speak. My Mika! The king! Your Highness, it's such an honor. Princess, it's... There, calm down, fellow. I found Princess Micah. What? Where is she? Well, out by Oasis. The desert trader arrived suddenly and had the princess in his troop. And you didn't bring her with you? Well, she didn't say much and doesn't seem to remember who she is, but I'd know her face anywhere. At least we know she's alive. I don't know for sure, but I thought maybe there might be a reward or something. I don't mean to be rude or nothing, it's just... Yes, Claire's downstairs, go bother her. Your Majesty, let me go to Oasis and escort Micah home. Could you? Oh, we can always depend on you, Logan. Prince Logan, we've put you through lots of trouble already. But you've got to save Princess Micah. You've got to. Yeah, right, we're on it. So, Chapter 5 is probably the most guilty chapter in the game of the backtracking issue we've already seen the game have. So if you didn't like that thus far in the game, prepare for the worst of it. And it's one of the few chapters now that I think about that starts with you backtracking to a different part of the previous chapter, because we do need to go to Oasis before going anywhere. At least I think you need to. I don't think you can just go straight to Port Sword to end up in the next region. We do need to come over here to talk to the leader here, Abib. Disaster has struck! The Norlanders won't settle off anymore! I told you so. Have you heard news of Princess Micah? Princess Micah? Can't say I know the lass. Well, maybe you know where that desert trader's gone. You mean Babar and that bunch of thieves? I heard them talking about Mortavia. They buy a lot of foreign stuff there. Alright, so we're going to Mortavia then, the next kingdom, which is directly to the north of us, but we do need to take a ship to get there. Thus, let's head over to Port Sword. And while we're here, I guess we might as well check in with Isaac, considering he's right next door. And hey, the ship actually landed this time. Hey, nobody in line. These people are friendly, huh? Hi, I'm in the kite-making biz now. I get new orders every day. I can't keep up. Grab a cot if you like. And now Isaac's house is the free inn for this town. So now let's head on over to Mortavia. I do weirdly appreciate that every single kingdom in this game actually has like a major geological barrier separating them compared to some RPGs where there's maybe like a single plane in some cases, or just a long distance. You can buy some stuff here. The most notable thing is this is the first time in the game you can buy an elixir. That is a better version of a salts. It revives characters to full HP in battle, as well as I think recovers their MP, maybe? They're really expensive at this point in the game though, so I wouldn't go haphazardly buying a lot of them. My daughter, where's my baby? I don't know, somewhere in town maybe? Thomas's daughter's been taken by an ugly beast. The Prime Minister says the beast feeds on humans at some tower. Thomas can't fish anymore because he's afraid she won't come back alive. Oh, that's a lot more dire. Be careful on who you talk to in this town, by the way, because the blue-haired person near the entrance, as well as one, I believe, above the church, can steal money from you. In fact, there's a couple of NPCs that can do that throughout this entire country. There's a reason this chapter's name is Outlaws. I just got lost money there, talking to that guy. Great. Fantastic. So let's just move on. The best thing about this particular area, though, it's all one linear path. There's a split down the line, but that's it. And here we got some Maulers. They got some heavy physical attacks, and they can summon Demon Dogs if they're alone in battle. You'll always know that they can do that, though, if they're on the far right side of the screen. The Demon Dogs as well. Pretty tanky in the HP and defense, and they can do some damage, but the biggest thing is, as they attack, their speed gets higher, which seems like it might be dangerous, but even if you're at my levels, you're probably going to be faster than them no matter what. Also, I should note, around now, honestly, if you wanted to, you could just change the level up point distribution to automatic and you'd be fine. The main reason we did it on manual throughout the entire LP was to take advantage of getting health growth earlier on. So by this point, you're probably going to be fine. Welcome to Cape Via. Hi, young folks, I got the Cure 5 spell. Neat, huh? That was way too much money sound. I mean, hey, it's paid in, but sure. It was good of you young folks to stop by. Thank you. Okay, that's 2 paid in so far out of, like, what, 20? Since you're new in town, I'll let you in on a little secret. You'd better stay away from Gilon. It's a den of thieves. And to make matters worse, you have a girl with you. She could be right. Get a grip, I'm not afraid to go out there. Make sure you talk to other NPCs in this town, though, because we got a really good sage here. I'm glad that you've come here because I want to talk about old Frederick. He's a real scoundrel. He stole Cure 5 from me. And he doesn't even know how to use it. What a geek, huh? And we can get Cure 5, the best curing spell in the game here, Leech and Power 4, which are the best variants of that particular spell as well. Mute 3 is definitely the best version of the Mute spell. I wouldn't recommend Chaos 3 overall, honestly. And here's what our spells are looking like at this point. That's more or less what they're going to be at for the rest of the game. But there are still going to be some updates we do here and there. And you can buy some more equipment here, namely the Sun line, which is good. I'd recommend saving your money, though. And hey, look, we found a bar, so let's talk to them. Psst, you're looking for the girl, Micah? I have a strange story to tell. The night before we left Gilon, she suddenly started to speak. She told me she was a very powerful princess and that people were coming to rescue her. But his partner wouldn't let her leave with us. You have to go and help her escape. And don't let Babar know I told you. Alright. Hello, friend. You're too late. I'm all sold out. Never mind that. We want to know where Princess Micah is. Micah? I wonder if she's that mute girl I picked up in Sordus Desert. She's with my business partner in Gilon. She liked it there, and so she stayed. A business partner from Gilon? Sounds real ugly to me. The only business done in that hole is thieving. Do you know something we don't, Giles? What? Me? I don't know no one in Gilon. That's a double negative. You know someone there. When I was visiting Acadia, I met a crazy archaeologist. He was really absent-minded, weird in the head. Weird, okay. But yeah, the sun equipment is good, but the next town has a much better line of equipment for way more money, admittedly. So I just recommend saving for that. You're going to be doing some grinding coming up anyway, so you might as well. And I might as well sell the ice staff. They say sucker when you sell items in this particular part of the game, and I think that might be because they actually kind of rip you off with the sale price. By and large, whenever you sell an item at a store prior to this, you get 75% its purchase value. They might go for like 50% in this area here, and that's why they say sucker. I don't know. It's not really worth it all the same to me. And welcome to Acadia already. We never had children, so we treat Rex like a baby. Rex is old boy. There's no need to bark at these people. Down, Rex, down, boy. Isn't Rex a good dog? He always listens to me. He can even sniff out evil beasts, rest your weary bones a while. And here's this free inn. This is kind of a unique town for this continent, because not only is it the first free inn you can find, it's I think the only town of this scale in the game that doesn't even have a general store from memory. We're here more for story reasons than anything. Don't go into the tower, it's full of unspeakable horrors. Those what are enter are never seen or heard from again. It sparkles on the outside, but inside, ugh, makes my skin crawl just thinking of it. Good to know. Hey there, look out for bandits wanting your gold. Oh, we've already had some take some from us, unfortunately. Yeah, I think Collins the archaeologist is losing his mind. He used to tell stories of his great adventures, and now he only talks about a missing gold card. I think he's getting crazy or something. Random out-of-place German accent, but okay. The gold card. Where's the gold card? Thank you, Indiana Jones. I guess we're just good to move on. I'm sure that character that has a unique sprite has nothing to do in the game's story whatsoever. And I believe there's one more NPC here that gives us a useful hint of some sort. Yeah, there you are. You kids seem to be travelers. If you ever go to Caucus, say hello to the storyteller Janice and her son. That's kind of been my mentality this entire LP, is to at least try to talk to the NPCs that give you some useful hints. I know there's one for a fact I missed down the line. It gives you a pretty prevalent one, though. And whoops, I'll talk more about that. 2 parts now, I think? And now we got another new enemy, Flame Raids. These guys are potentially one of the more dangerous enemies on this continent, because not only do they have a lot of HP, they got a lot of magic they can throw at you pretty quickly. From memory, though, I believe they're the enemy around here that can drop a pretty important item known as a lantern. A lantern is an infinite use torch, similar to how the secret orbs is infinite use secret eye. If you can get one of those, hold on to it, because there's still a few caves that are dark in the game. Not too many, but at least enough to make it useful. Plus that frees up inventory space. And here we got Slash Beasts, not the Mega Man X4 boss fight. They are interesting enemies in that I believe they can boost their defense at will, and they're otherwise pretty tanky, and they can bring on some pretty decent damage. Be careful of these guys. You usually only run into them in groups of 2 or 3, but they are probably one of the more dangerous enemies around here, especially when you do your grinding. Especially if you're lower level than I am. I'd say the highest, or the lowest level you should be around here and comfortable is probably like 28, 29. Any lower than that, you're probably going to be running some danger, especially on your HP levels alone. And now we got another new enemy, Tyrannus. The other thing I said about Slash Beasts being high damage, these are that to an extreme because they can cast Power 2 on themselves to make themselves even stronger. The best thing about it is that their defenses aren't anything super spectacular, so you might be able to use the turn they waste powering themselves up to take them out before they get them a chance to move, but be careful of them all the same. And we want to go north from here to find the town of Gilan that we've been warned about explicitly. I'll wait here. You can go on ahead. You wouldn't be chickening out on us, would you? Oh, me? Never. It's just that I have an old friend in there that I don't want to see. Anyway, you can find the princess in the mansion yourselves. If you know this place so well, then why don't you help us? You're really twisting my arm, ain't ya? Okay, but remember, I'm only doing this for Mika, who you shared 0 conversations with, but you know what? That's a true bro. Taking a really roundabout pathway here, aren't you? I guess this is the place.
Prince Logan, praise the seeker, you found me.
Princess Micah!
You'd be wise to hand over the girl, Sonny.
And you might live a little longer if you just turn around and walk away.
You dare threaten Big Giles, the bandit king of Galan? Make mincemeat of him.
Right, boss.
Back off, Gramps.
Giles, if it isn't my long-lost grandson.
Not by choice, old man.
Still quick with the tongue, eh? Well, I'm still glad to see ya. Come on, let's go over to my joint.
Ooh, juicy. You got a lot of nerve pretending to be our host. Don't you know this girl's royalty? Really? No wonder she can't wash dishes. Of course she can't, you big fat clown. She's a princess. That shouldn't stop her. You better believe it. This place smells horrible. You should be put away for aiding and abetting a crime. Mike is only alive because some traitor rescued her from the desert. She ain't here out of choice. There's even a huge reward for her. Well, I'll be darned. We'll have to escort her home then. My boys will take her on her way. No thanks, Blubberbutt. We don't want your help. I'll take anyone's help as long as I get home. Ah, but you're not leaving, little Giles. This is your chance to take over the family business. The new Bandit King. If you say little Giles one more time, and I ain't gonna be no godfather to your gang of goons. You sound just like your father. He was a real brat. Ran off without leaving a word, just like you did. You left a huge hole in my wall to boot. Cyclops still get in. I'll do you a favor and tell you why your old man left home. I know why he left. He didn't want to be no godfather either. He always had big plans, and now he's digging ditches. My only brat son, and now you saying the same stuff. Listen up. I'm a nice guy, so I'll make you a deal you can't refuse. You have to go into Wolfjaw and get me the famed Silverhorn. If you can make it through the traps I set in there, you pass the test. Then you don't need to bother staying in Gilon. It's a deal. Those traps won't bother me. Not so fast, there's conditions. You can't use warp to move. And you gotta bring the Silverhorn. I always loved its music. Hey Bugsy, show this gentleman the path to Wolf Dog Cabin. The rest of you lot can wait inside. As for me, I'm going for a walk. He's just a hothead, Giles. Don't listen to him. Here, take this torch to aid your journey into the darkness. Thanks. Much appreciated. How about waiting here till I get it back? And this torch is unique in that it's actually an infinite use one. It just stays lit, sort of like the lantern does. So, Wolfjaw is a bit of an interesting dungeon in that there's no enemies, but it's the only time you're, like, actually given navigation puzzles. For instance, we got these switches that open doors and kind of switch their on and off state. What's interesting about this place as well, it's one of the few times I'm aware of in the game where your actions directly can change how things go. Like, you can completely fail this area and still progress on in the plot. You can just not get the Silverhorn and leave. That's probably because this is the only other time in the game they do the thing I mentioned way back when we freed, I think his name was Mayor Walter and Marcus and crew from Drax's goons in that one town, where you can push stuff around again. And you also want to just raid all the plates here, because you get some good stuff, including some new equipment. The Spy Scope, which is an infinite use and permanent telelens. Just some good stuff. This rock in particular is what you can push, and pushing it pushes the very similar looking rock on the opposite end of the dungeon that we already saw. That's where you can mess up and completely miss out on the Silverhorn.
Help me. I am the keeper of this cave. I foolishly tripped one of the cave's traps, which turned my flesh to stone. I can only be freed if somebody offers a prayer to the granite slab, which lies deep within these caverns. Free me, and I will guide you through these tunnels.
I mean, hey, sounds good to me. And we actually already saw that granite slab downstairs. The wind rope we got in the same room with the Spy Scope, by the way. That is another rope that has 0 defense, but it boosts your speed by 50. Out of all of the robes, that's the only one I would consider using if there's other ways to boost your defense, like using guard or shields, but not worth it all the same to me. It's just too risky. The chill laughter of the idol floats through the air.
I'm free! I'm free!
That's not exactly laughter, but sure, let's go check back in with her and see what happened, I guess. Kind of a random time compared to the rest of the game to introduce a spirit like this, but oh well, I guess I'll take it. You're free and still a statue for some reason.
My thanks to you for freeing me. Now I will guide you as I promised.
But to be honest, I'd rather have you find the treasure yourself. Don't look so surprised, boy. I circled ahead of you disguised as a maiden, so I could lead you on a wild goose chase. Instead, I stumbled into one of the traps. It's a good thing I knew about the granite slab.
And it's a good thing I didn't know it was you, because I would have left you here as a showpiece to this cave. Now take a hike, Gramps. I still got a treasure to hunt.
Spoken like a true bandit to be. I'll meet you back home.
Something I've never checked is how this whole thing progresses if you never do that little mini-quest. It might be required by plot, I'm not entirely certain. Either way, now that we pushed that other stairway, or the rock like I said, this one now opens and that allows us to access the treasure chests down here, but it also allows us to open this door down here. The thing is about the doors in this dungeon, they work on a universal on-off switch. So pushing this one will open the doors that were already closed as well above the, up here on this floor rather. And you might have noticed when I first entered this area, there were 2 switches in a row designed to open a door, but then close it right when you got to it. Pressing that switch downstairs allows you to get past that without a problem. I missed this on my first playthrough, but I found it when messing around on my second one, which is why I know you can just completely mess this area up and still progress in the game. Kind of a cool moment, but I prefer to do this because it allows me to get all this gem stuff pretty early. Gem equipment is the stuff you can buy in Gilan, by the way. It's extraordinarily expensive, but it's really useful. Giles checks out the writing on the stone monument. It's forbidden to lay hands on the treasure in this room by Big Giles. That is true. If you grab the treasure chest in here, that door closes and you have to put it back in. But even then, you lose technically the game that Giles has us doing because you disobeyed his orders directly. Whoops. In this room, you need to tap forward to get over the different colored blocks, otherwise this door will close and you have to just exit that room and re-enter. But following this pathway, we find ourselves at the Silverhorn. We are good to go. We'll be back in here later on for story reasons so we can grab that chest we're forced to ignore later. And I don't think you need to walk over the tiles on the way out. I'm just doing that to be completely careful, honestly. So let's go talk to Bugsy and get the hell out of here. You giving up already? What a laugh. Shut your trap. Take a gander at this horn. Ain't you the greatest? Let's get back to Gilan. How did it go? Pretty well, I'd say. No props. Gramps, is this what you were after? I gave myself way too much time to read these lines. You're definitely one of the family. Does this mean you'll quit whining? And that I can have some freedom? Of course. You proved your worth as the Bandit King. You'll be running this show now. You pig dog, you said I was free to go. You should get your ears checked, boy. I said no such thing. Let me at him. Wait, you guys can't keep on fighting. Get a grip. Yeah, Giles, you have to agree to stay. Then I can get home. Now shake on it. Okay, I know what I'm beat. What do you say, Mr. Giles? That's what I want to hear. So you're to be the new Magic Fingers Giles. Well, don't worry about the princess. She's safe with us. You ought to make these goofballs take her home. And Gramps, you or I have to go along. You stay put, mister. You ain't leaving now. I, on the other hand, can escort this fine young lady to Sordis. Your wish is my command. Shall we, princess? You guys sure took long enough with your arguing. I can't wait to get back to Havelock. Bye! I'm glad that pain in the neck is gone. Now we can get back to business. Yeah, we gotta keep our eyes peeled for my father, too. Not to mention all the ugly beasts around here. Are you game? The thought did cross my mind. Me too. The people here have suffered long enough. What do you mean, Giles? Aren't you staying here? Come on, Princey, get a grip. You don't expect me to hang around this dump, do ya? The old man wouldn't keep his word to his own mother. I ain't listening to him. Like father, like son. Well, Big Giles is gone. We better meet this Prime Minister we heard about. He's going to need help fighting the creatures infesting Mortavia. It's time to get out of here. Let's check out the town. Indeed we shall, but first let's check around here. First off, I'm going to give all the gem stuff we got to Logan. The gem equipment, by the way, is pretty unique, and there's some people in Gilan's town area that will talk about this. It's great equipment, except against fire. If gem equipment gets hit by a fire spell or a fire breath attack or anything similar, it breaks instantly. There's not any in this area that can really do that to you, thankfully, but be careful all the same. There are some of those down the line. And now that I've used the spy scope, enemies will permanently be visible in the overworld, which is pretty useful for avoiding enemies, honestly, in case you're done with grinding or you just don't feel like interacting with the game outside of its story anymore, which might be a running theme, by the way. The main man sure was happy to see you back. He's still mad about that hole in the wall, though. Catch some Z's. And now we got another free inn here on this continent. Good to have, good to have. But with that, I'm going to need to end this off here. Thank you guys for watching, and in part 9, we're going to explore the town of Gilan, talking to the NPCs around there before heading on further into the Mortavian continent to see what we can do in the other towns of it now that we've gotten Giles out of the way. Or other Giles. Always did find it weird they called him Little Giles, but I guess it is descriptive. See you guys then.